Hey, well, this is Zaccheus with another live word of the day. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in. Well, on today's episode, wow, gotta wait for his trial. P. Diddy faces trial October 3rd, Friday, October 3rd, this coming Friday. And Cassie, recently, article came out about Diddy's situation, facing trial. Final verdict will be on October 3rd. Diddy's ex Cassie fares swift retribution if rapper walks free as prosecution push for 11-year sentence. Now, Cassie is a little worried because her, as well as others, came out and spoke up against him. But I wonder if Diddy himself is regretting. Remember that 30, I would get 30K, a 30 mil, I forgot what the figure was. Gave her all that money just so hush money so she won't go against him. I know he probably regrets that. I gave you all this money. Because remember the situation with the beating that was displayed at the hotel back in 2016? And Diddy paid her off so she won't go against him. And now she's coming up with all the woodworks. Coming up with all the woodworks to get him locked up because if he walks free, she's afraid. She has a fear of the repercussions that she'll face if he walks. Now, I have a detailed article I'm gonna share with you on this matter on Zaccheus with another live word of the day.
This morning, a last-ditch effort by Sean Diddy Combs to have his conviction overturned has been denied by a judge, clearing the way for the music mogul sentencing Friday. Combs was convicted on 2 counts of transportation for the purposes of prostitution. He was acquitted of more serious charges, including sex trafficking. His accusers now writing letters to the judge ahead of his sentencing. His former assistant writing, "I ask you to deliver a sentence that reflects the full measure of harm that he has caused. Wealth, power, and fame should not place him above the law." Combs' ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura going further, telling the judge she's scared that Combs will walk free, writing, "His first actions will be swift retribution toward me and others who spoke up about his abuse at trial." Prosecutors are asking for an 11-year prison sentence. That's twice the legal standard for similar crimes. Prosecutors claiming because Combs used fraud or coercion, he deserves a more severe sentence. Diddy's lawyers calling that draconian, saying it amounts to verdict be damned, lock him up and throw away the key. They're asking for Combs, who's already been in prison for 13 months, to be released on time served. The defense team did win a small victory yesterday. The judge saying Combs will not have to wear his prison jumpsuit during sentencing. So instead of that jumpsuit, he will be allowed to wear a button-down shirt with slacks like his outfits during the trial. This morning, a last-ditch effort by...
So as it stands, Diddy has not been sentenced yet, with sentencing hearing scheduled for October 3rd, this coming Friday, 2025, while he was convicted of 2 counts of transporting individuals to engage in prostitution, each carrying a potential 10-year maximum sentence. He was acquitted of more serious racketeering and sex trafficking charges. Prosecutors are recommending a sentence of about 11 years, a long time out of his life. The man is in his mid-50s, and 3 months, while his defense is arguing for a sentence of no more than 14. Wow, he's gonna face some time. I don't think he's gonna walk from this. If he does, it'll be a miracle. I don't. So many people had so many charges, so many counts, so many people had a lot to say because he did so much. You see, when you allow the devil to come into your life and you're dabbling into drugs, you're dabbling into things you shouldn't get in you, and you sell your soul just so you can reach to the top. And then on a process of trying to help others, in the process of trying to help others, you take advantage. You take advantage of them. Now, don't get me wrong. Cassie's not 100% innocent. she wanted to get into the industry, and she sold her soul to get into the industry, and she made sacrifices, but she didn't deserve to receive abuse, all because she wanted to sing and she wanted to get out there and she wanted to make a name for herself and build a legacy for herself. And Diddy took advantage of that. And it looked like he took advantage of a few other people, but he took advantage of Cassie. And all Cassie wanted to do was to sing and put her name out there. Sing, put her name out there, and build a legacy for herself. And he took advantage of that. No, Diddy has to face the music. It's a lot for someone that's pregnant and expecting, but see, remembering the past is not an easy thing. When you had a dramatical and toxic past, abusive relationship, and a past that you don't want to remember. You remember all those times. Close your eyes, remember all those times what you went through with Diddy. The sex, the freak offs, the things she had to do during the freak offs, and all these things she had to do to indulge in, just so she can have a name out there. She sold her soul to the devil just so she can have a name out there, but out of whose expense? Her soul. The soul. And now going back in time, remembering, she looking at Diddy, remembering these times that she faced, these times that she faced with all this abuse. See, whatever's in the dark will come to light. And that video leaked. You see, Diago had his hand in Diddy's demise when he went against Diago, their liquor company. And now when that video leaked, Cassie exposed during this trial, exposed the abuse that she went through with Diddy. The price of fame and fortune. And she cries. Some people call it crocodile tears, crying at what she went through. She indulged too. Because, listen, I was watching Art of Dialogue, and some of the men that she had intercourse with, they would say, listen, she's a freak. Listen, she did this, she did that. She's not all that innocent. But she went through a dramatic time in her life just so she can get out there in the music industry, and and her husband after listening to all of this, her current husband, and it's just not an easy thing to go through, that you gotta remember all of that. Now she's telling the judge that if you let him walk, my life is in danger. Now, this is the letter that Cassie written to the judge. Now I gotta look very close because it's written in small handwriting. I've been in a cycle of through and overthought writing this letter. Thing that I have learned from this experience is it that as victims and survivors, although I can hope for justice and accountability, I have come to the decision, considering the truth at hand, and the juries failed to see what Diddy can do for the 4 days, made while 9 months pregnant with my son. I testify in courtroom about most traumatic, horrific chapter in my life. 19, at age 19, she met P. Diddy. At age 19, she met P. Diddy, and all Cassie wanted to do was to perform, sing, get her music out there, get her name out there. And like I said, build a legacy for herself. And the price of fame, she had to sell her soul. Now, Sean Combs used violence, threats, and substance and control in over the decade of abuse Now, check out Gene Deal's video. Diddy's ex bodyguard, and check out the go to YouTube and check out his experience in dealing with Diddy when it came to Cassie, and check it out. Art of Dialogue and Gene Deal just lays on the whole. He just tells the whole story what Cassie went through, and there are other people that came out too that spoke on this matter, and violence and substance and control. It's over decades of abuse. He groomed me into performing repeated healed and all exactly how to it took and and piled up with drugs and alcohol. A puppet. These events were daggering, disgusting, loathing me. Days of physical and emotional exhaustion before the demanded it all full-time job, like a full-time job. Only way to stay in his good grace was she had to go through all that. She had to sacrifice her body, had sex with different men. Remember, had sex with different men in front of him. She had to perform sexual acts with all different types of men, just so that and that would please him. That would please Diddy. All type of rituals Cassie had to go through, just for the price of fame and fortune. This is what she had to go through. And freak offs and all this, all part of it. And testified that I learned and read Sean Combs' signals, knowing that the freak offs, he was demanding them, and that refusing meant punishment. If you refuse his freak offs, that's what Cassie written in his letter. If you refused these freak offs, it meant punishment. Of or worse, he controlled every part of my livelihood, threatened me, leaking sex tapes and threat and repeated often. He power over me. So Diddy had his not only just with the abuse of the drugs and alcohol, but on top of that, abused her sexually and went into detail with all these freak offs that she had to perform, all these things that Cassie went through. A lot, a lot, a lot. And you will see people you never think. You see people smiling. See some of these celebrities smiling. The things that some people have to go through for fortune and fame, to sell your soul, to the rituals that you have to go through. This is a message to always do the right thing towards people, towards your brother or sister, because the energy you give is the energy you get back. If you sow bad seeds, you're gonna reap bad seeds. If you sow good seeds, you're gonna reap good seeds. And the way how he treated Cassie, it's like eventually blessings are taken away from you. Eventually, whatever's in the dark will be exposed to the light, will be exposed in the light. And if you treat people with disrespect, you degrade them, you abuse them because you have the power, because you're on a higher pedestal, and you take advantage of them because you feel that you can't get touched. You take advantage of them because you feel that you have the position to put them to success. So therefore, you took advantage of them and you abuse them with your power because you know that they won't know that they want to be exposed. You know they want to be popular. You know they want to be famous. But instead, you abuse them. You turn around and you abuse them. You take advantage of their innocence. No, not saying that she's totally innocent because she did participate. Is a decision that you make to walk with the devil. It's a decision that you make to sell your soul. It's a decision that you make to go ahead and do these things. But he had, but once you're a person that have power over somebody, and he knew he had control over her, he knew he had the advantage over her. So you know what he did? He abused her and took advantage of it, and he ran with it. Always try to do the right thing towards your brother. Always try to do the right thing towards your sister. Never abuse your power or belittle somebody, because eventually, whatever comes around goes around. You reap what you sow. You reap what you sow. And Diddy, because of the drugs and alcohol and the things he had to go through, the rituals he had to take, he didn't start it out that way. It was one time I was looking at reading the story article about Diddy. He locked himself in the bathroom and cried for days. Cried for days because he knew that something in the spirit was not right. Something that he was indulging in was not right. It was wrong. But he continued with it anyway. Continue with freak offs. Continue doing what he do, because not everything when you're rich is always blessings. It's not always blessings. Because you're rich doesn't mean that you're blessed because you're rich. You may have things, have the possessions of what the world have to offer, and have all these things that what the world have to offer, but you'll still be empty inside. The devil still controls your mind, and can the devil still have dominion over your spirit? And Diddy, the devil had dominion over his spirit. That's why he was able to do the things he did. He sold his soul to the devil, and the devil took over his spirit with the drugs and the alcohol, with the drugs, and that's what it is. And now the live word of the day is coming out of Colossians chapter 3, verses 25. For the wrongdoer will be paid back for what he has done, and there is no partiality. Diddy is held accountable for his actions and what he's done. You're held accountable for the wrongdoing. You are not, before you close your eyes, you got to reap what you sow. Now, to manipulate and take advantage of somebody's innocence. Remember, Cassie was 19 when she met Diddy. And all she wanted to do, like I said before, is to sing, get her name out there, build a legacy for herself. And Diddy took advantage of that. So he'd be held accountable. And come October 3rd, this coming Friday, his fate lies in the hand of the jury and the judge. And you see, Diddy allowed darkness to enter darkness, and he sold his soul to the devil. So therefore, with the alcohol, with the drugs, dabbling in drugs, and then dabbling in freak offs and sexual acts, and using Cassie to fulfill his bizarre sexual fantasy. And now, come this coming Friday, October 3rd, he gotta face the trial for his actions. Well, this is Zaccheus with another live word of the day. God bless and be safe. Peace and blessings. Until next time, while you're at it, you can smash the like button. Also, subscribe to my channel. I got more videos coming for you. Well, this is Zaccheus with another live word of the day. God bless and be safe out there. Peace and blessings. Until next time.